Welcome back to this week's episode of
Wait.
Slightly Average Guys. And for some
guy.
reason, there seems to be somebody missing in the middle. I feel like it's just Andy's left arm, but it really should be Ryan Teeter. Andy,
Hey guys.
do you, are you saying that he's just a puppet? Is that what you're saying this whole entire time? That was the giveaway? Oh, it's gonna be.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, he could be. You know, you don't know. You can't see him from the nipples down, so he could be Kermit the Frog. You never know.
That's true. That's
But-
very true. We don't know.
Andy and myself are holding it down this week. Ryan, for the last couple of weeks, has actually been traveling for work. You know, that thing of, you know, how do we pay bills? You know, and he'd all of a sudden text us and be like, hey, guys, sorry, you know, work's making me travel. I'm like, yeah, sure. You know, I'm like, the strip club doesn't count as, you know, having to, you know, out of state travel. Okay. I don't know how you're writing that off as an expense, but, you know, lap dances really don't count. So we're holding it down. We got some topics for this week. You know, they're probably slightly average. Just not gonna lie. You know, Andy's Pit Viper glasses
Minimum.
that he just took off, they were above
Yeah.
average. You know, super. You were mentioning in the pre-show about potentially trying to embarrass your children.
Oh yeah.
And really
Yeah.
try to grow out a mullet.
That's right.
Do you think
That's
that
right.
would
That's
actually
my
be?
plan.
You think you'd be able to pull it off? Like, I've always wanted longer hair, and like during the pandemic, last year, it got longer and just annoyed the crap out of me. I don't know how anybody
Yeah.
has hair that's longer than like 3 inches.
Yeah, I think it'll be a challenge from the, you know, like, do I really want to do this?
Yeah.
Because inevitably, even working from home, inevitably I have to see somebody, whether it's on Skype or Zoom or something, and not all scenarios can I wear a hat. So yeah, I don't know. That's really my only hang up about doing this. I think I could actually like go through with it.
Okay.
And it would be fun, especially just because of the like daily updates I can send to everybody in my family to sheer annoyance of you know, half day updates even. Oh look, this came in, you know.
It's starting to curl.
Yeah. So I definitely think I could do that. As far as like being professional about it though, I don't know.
Yeah. You know, you can be party in the front, but the business in the back, you know, some businesses tend to frown upon the business in the back, which
Yeah. Silly. You know, and I even thought, could I start a new trend and have this full on like business mullet? Because I think that there's some opportunity. It's like, do I want to bring back the monocle and like a cape?
oh yeah.
And you know, I think those should make their comeback.
You're basically
Top
saying
hat.
you want to be the Planters peanut guy.
Yeah, or the Monopoly guy.
But-
Either or.
No, see, no, up. We're gonna get into the weirdness of reality. Everybody remembers the Monopoly guy with the monocle. The Monopoly guy doesn't have a monocle.
Stupid.
Yeah, go look it up. There's one of those things where it's like we are now living in another dimension where we all remember the guy having a monocle. He does not. Never
Wow.
has. You know, it's one of those crazy things like Britney Spears, you know, has
The microphone,
the
yeah.
microphone now
Yeah.
it doesn't exist. Nobody can find any video of it, but we all remember her wearing that
Man.
thing.
Thanks a lot, CERN.
Yeah.
Way to ruin everything.
It's like the Statue of Liberty. We all remember it being on Ellis Island. Be like, oh, that's just where it is. You know, all the immigrants came over. They got, you know, registered and everything. Like that's just where it is. Nope, it's on Liberty Island. Those are two separate islands. They not the same thing in the slightest. You know, now the immigrants still came over and went to Ellis Island, but not it. Just how everybody remembers it.
Jeez.
You know, again, that goes along with your conspiracy theorist stuff that we really need to make sure we
Yeah.
jump on. Connor in the chat, he's just saying, you know, just use the age-old excuse of, oh man, sorry, my camera's broke. You know? It's just showing me these luscious locks if I happen to turn
True.
it on. You
You
know?
know, I do try to do that with one of my jobs, and I typically don't show my face, and it actually has made a big deal all the way up to the CEO of the company was like, look, you know, we're a remote company now. You guys need to see your teams every once in a while. I'm like, ugh, nobody, great. So
Oh.
I don't have a problem with that on that aspect. I think it'd be fine. Everybody in my team would just laugh, but
No, man, like, here, this is what needs to happen. You just need to turn the camera, okay? And then like have a doll or like tape the like a Lego thing to like really close in front of the camera, so it just looks like he's standing there. That's what it needs to be. So you actually just turn it on.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, that would be perfect. I think
Yeah,
that's totally what you need to do.
they should.
Yeah. Just be like, hey man, I got it. Or have you seen the I think it's on TikTok. The guy that's like always doing crazy things. He's really not working, but like he's trying to make it look like he's in a Zoom call and he's always got
Yeah,
the green
yeah, yeah.
screen. He was driving once, another time he was boating, and then he's like skydiving on another one. I'm like, these are so ridiculous, but like this is so creative. I wish I would have thought of
Yeah.
that.
No, I love that. I am amazed that some of those people are so creative with the ridiculous stuff they come up with
Yeah.
and the millions of views and likes that people give them. I'm
Mhm.
like,
Yep.
jeez.
Yep. Oh, Heather's here. Heather's jumping in. Appreciate you joining, Heather.
Yeah.
We are just missing a nut. I don't know if it's the left or the right one. I'm gonna say I'm the shaft because I'm normally in the middle, right? No, Ryan's
Okay.
normally in the middle. So I no, anyway.
Okay.
Off on tangents. All right,
Yeah.
let's talk about what we're watching. Okay.
Okay.
I have, like always, for the last couple of weeks, I'm just so deep into like YouTube videos. I don't know why I'm on this like weird YouTube kick. And like before it was, just different stuff with cars and crazy crap. Now I'm gonna tell you where I'm at. I wanna buy a piece of land that's
Okay.
super wooded. So it's like up from where your stomping grounds are, right? Like Sholo, Pine Top,
Yep.
or Flagstaff, Crown King, right? Like those are
Yep.
the four areas you really can pick from inside of Arizona where you're still gonna get a wooded lot. I'm off on this tangent of like I want one. It's got an old dilapidated cabin. I'm gonna rebuild the damn thing.
Yeah.
Okay, like that's where I'm at. I watched like 3 different series about people doing this, and not in Arizona. They're all in like Kentucky and the Ozarks and all these different places, Pennsylvania, Maine, all these places that have a ton more stuff than Arizona does. And then I get off on a tangent of Zillow and trying to find something that matches anything remote like that, and nope, doesn't exist.
Yep. Now that would be great, man. I'd love to do that. I've seen some videos recently too, and that's like the goal where, you have nothing and it's all yours.
Yeah.
And there's nobody by you. But I find for me, I want to be away, but not too far disconnected where like I watched one video and these people had an hour ATV ride to their house because the car can't go back. I don't want that.
Yeah.
I want like a regular maintained road. I can be 2 hours away from everybody, but I'm out there.
Yeah.
I don't mind that.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like I don't mind like okay, I got to park at the base of this the 100 feet and walk up to the house, right? Like, but like I'm not gonna be one where it's like, all right, you got to go all out. And I've even had a buddy a long time ago that had some place up north. It was like just west of Mayer. It was kind of like and you had to take like a 9-mile dirt road. And you had to have like 5-ply tires. I'm even okay with that. Like I have no problem because it was along the side of a mountain and it was beautiful. And you also knew there was a community back in there. I think it was called Breezy Pines, right? And beautiful back in there once you in there. Not mansions or anything like that. It was just old cabins, A-frames, that were up there. Really cool, and it was nice because it was still a little community, but everybody like knew everybody. So, if anybody random person came up, there was always somebody stopping them, asking them what the hell they needed. So it was so far off the beaten path that you never just got random people coming up there. So I was like, oh, that would be perfect, right? Perfect. Exactly what I want. There's nothing available. Nothing at all. Why is every piece of real estate, and I know it's a whole bunch all over the country, but definitely in Arizona, it's like, nope. I looked at one that was for sale. It was like, hey, this one's $75,000. It's sold like a year and a half ago for like 26. I'm like, are we for real? Are we for real? Anyway, so watching, I'm just deep into these things. I put them on while I'm working because I'm building some websites and stuff that I need to be disconnected, have something playing in the background. So I'm just leaving it run on one of my screens. That's what I'm deep into. I got a few other ones, but how about you? What are you watching recently?
Yeah, mostly what I've been in on was, or I watched the Olympics a little bit and just sporadically, swimming, gymnastics, obviously the floor exercise, the rhythmic gymnastics. How do you say no to that?
Yeah.
All the obscure stuff. But really, I kind of gone back to some of the old favorites. Superstore, I've been into that lately. I haven't really been on Netflix in a while, but I went back and I was just looking through some of the old stuff. There was a show called, I think it was Love at First Sight. And the whole idea was that you just talk to each other and you build this connection, and then you like pick your person, and then you basically like are going to get married. So they recently came out with some more episodes. So I've been trying to get into that and kind of like rewatching some of the previous history, obviously, and just different things like that. Just, you know, nothing special. We watched, I don't even remember what movie we watched the other day. It was just all right. I don't even remember. It wasn't even that good.
Was it Fast and the Furious 9? Because that's the way I thought about Fast and the Furious 9. I'm like, I didn't pay much to go see it, and I was disappointed with going and seeing it. So I was gonna leave it at that.
No. I watched the Jungle Cruise. That was what I ended up watching.
Yeah, I didn't think that was bad. I like literally stumbled into. I really just was like, this is like a modern version of The Mummy.
Yeah,
that's like what I felt. I felt like, you know, I was like, this is totally just a modern, different take on The Mummy. It's really where I ended up with it.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. You know, The Rock. I call him. That's his name. I don't care. You want to be Dwayne Johnson. You're The Rock. Get out of here.
The Rock Johnson.
It was all right. And then the twist at the end, I was like, oh, because I was waiting for like the kick, and then that happened. I was like, all right, that's stupid. So
I didn't see that exact thing coming. I was like, there's going to be something along the lines of this, but it still threw me for a loop. But I was like, yeah, it's not out of the realm of, you know, what it was going to be. I'm trying to find this for everybody. I was going to post it in the chat.
It was fun to watch, and if anybody's been to Disneyland recently and you remember the Jungle Cruise, the whole thing about going on that ride is that the person who drives you through the thing, their jokes are just terrible.
Yeah.
So he definitely did a good job on that, but the rest of it was kind of like meh. It wasn't too bad. No, I'm not going to watch Fast and whatever. That's hard pass.
Yeah, again, like Jungle Cruise a million times better than Fast 9. Million times better than Fast 9. For anybody like Heather is in the chat, she's talking about Homestead Rescue, you know, like along the lines of the cabin thing. Agree. Heather, I just posted one in the chat, which is one of the ones that I was watching, where it's just this younger couple that parents have land in Kentucky, and then they just take over this cabin and start rebuilding it. That's there. It's like really fun to watch. Like you can skip through it because she just rambles on and talks exactly like we do in this damn show, which is funny. So you can skip stuff through, but it's like really good, just really wholesome, like made you feel good because it was like, wait, this isn't produced like everything else is and different stuff. But anyway, go watch it. One of the other things, and I think I've said this before, and you still need to, because season 2, yes, I think it's season 2, is out. Episode 3, Ted Lasso. Don't know, Andy. Have you heard? Yeah, you need to watch it.
No.
It's on the service. It's on Apple TV Plus. So you have to actually do that, or contact you know who, and on.
I think he has it.
Yeah. It's on his.
Okay.
It's on his.
No, I have some friends that have watched it, and they're like, "You got to watch this."
Dude, first season's really good. The second season, like first episode, was just kind of trying to roll into it, but it's gotten good too. Like, and again, there's only 3 episodes in, but I highly recommend it because it isn't one of those that like you know exactly what's coming. Like they throw a little bit of curveballs at everybody, but it's just a goofy, fun. It made me feel good, right? Okay. There's things that's like, hey, especially because I started watching it last year, and it's a TV show for everybody. So there's multiple different episodes. I think there's only 6 or 7 in the first season, and they've only got 3 out so far this season. But really great, made you feel good. I watched it in the middle of COVID last year, so it really was nice just because it was something completely different. So goofy and fun. So definitely go watch that. That's my one TV show that I've actually, because they don't binge release it, it's one every single week. I'm so pumped every single time that it comes out.
Okay, yeah, I definitely need to watch it. I'm excited for stuff like that. I've had a good time watching Eastbound and Down because it's just dumb.
Yep.
Right. Yep. Some of the stuff that they say to each other, I'm crying laughing, and I was like, this is the stupidest show I've ever seen. So
you're like, I can't believe I'm watching this. Yet
no,
I want to watch
fantastic.
Okay, another one down that same road of what I had started with the cabins, and then it started getting old. which popped up yesterday because I was like, what else is there that I could put on over here? And it was along the same path as people that live in RVs. And I know I've mentioned this when I threw it out to Ryan as a crazy idea of like, hey, why build a house right now? And if you're not happy with, the place, it's not that he's not happy because he actually likes where he lives and it's a great deal is what we all tell him because he's renting it from our friend. But I'm like, hey, if you just wanted to change, go do an RV thing. Like now I'm looking at it where people actually live in it and I'm like, God damn. Now I really wish. And I know it's really expensive to park it at certain places, but I was watching a different one where they kind of tell you, they're like, oh, well, this and this are the other ways to get around it where it's not perfect. They're like, you're still going to pay a decent amount, but there's just different, knowing the ins and outs. I was like, God damn. So today at lunchtime, I walk out, my wife's in the other room. She works from home too. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to throw out a random idea. It's like super random idea. I was like, and it's going to sound dumb. And I told her, I was like, what if we took 2 weeks? 2 weeks, we rented an RV, traveled wherever, brought our 2.5-year-old son with us. I was like, yeah, that part's going to be hard because I was like, my next statement is neither one of us have another 2 weeks off. So I was like, we just travel, we stop, we still work. Everything else is like, I think we can make it work. She's like, well, outside of dealing with a toddler in the middle of the day, she's like, God, I'm not opposed to it. I'm like, she's like, but why? I'm like, because I feel like we wasted it. She goes, what? Wasted what? I was like, this whole stinking time, the last 16 to 18 months. I was like, we were the ones that did like exactly everything everybody said and stayed in. And I'm like, I'm so tired of this house. It's not even funny. But I was like, you know how many other people went and like, they worked from a cabin, they worked from a hotel, they worked from this place, that place, their friend's house in a different state because you could, right? Like that's what they did. I was like, we didn't do any of it. I was like, we're closing in on us having to go back to the actual office. Is like, I feel like we should actually just do one thing. Hurrah. Drive up, be in Flagstaff for a couple of days, go, I don't know, Utah I was like, let's just go do it. So her head was like, starting to feel, try to figure out, should I do it? Does that,
I think that's a great idea. So we have some friends that did that. For 16 days, they did about 4,800 miles, and they did like Yellowstone, and they came across and went over to like Washington State and down and through California and all. And they have a gigantic RV. Yeah. And talking to them, he's like, I can't believe we did all of that in 16 days. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds like fun, especially to take your kids and do all that stuff. And my wife and I have actually talked about doing that when our kids are gone, that she wants to do the whole travel nurse thing. And we just buy a truck, get an RV, and we say, see you later. Yep. And we just go, you want to work in this state? Okay, let's work there, live there for 13 weeks, and then on to the next adventure. And surprisingly, she's met quite a few people that actually do that. And they're young. They're like in their 20s, early 20s. Mid 20s, and they're married, and that's all they do. They just drive around, they see the country, and they make an insane amount of money doing that stuff. So I'm like, yeah, we're in for that.
I just think it'd be fun, right? Like just being in the same place. Like I realized watching these videos, which sorry, before I do anything else, Teeter has actually hopped into the chat, so he's available enough to at least watch the show. So we appreciate having that extra viewer there, Ryan.
Sir.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
But like one of the things that I realized watching these videos, especially the cabins in the woods, I'm like, I just miss nature. I miss nature. Like we used to do a trip every single year back when my in-laws lived back in Indiana. Every year we'd go up there, I think it was in October, and we would go rent a cabin in the woods and do a whole bunch of mountain biking. And I loved it. Absolutely love it. Like I am not physically fit in the slightest, but like it was just so much of a blast just to go do that and have a great, nice time and be back with nature when you don't get those trees and stuff, here in Phoenix, Arizona. So I miss that, and watching the videos, I was just like, oh man, I just miss being around nature. I don't miss the bugs, but I miss that.
Yeah, I would love to do that too. I think that'd be great. When we were on vacation up in California, we went to this place called Lake Arrowhead, and I was working every morning. And I'm just sitting there looking out on the trees and the lake. I'm like, this needs to be my view. Like, what do I need to do to make this permanent? Yeah, exactly. Whether it's there, wherever. Yeah, I just want to look out and see trees and nothing.
Yeah, and that's exactly kind of what I was telling Katie. I was like, we've spent all this time I was like, and we blew it. We blew it because you could have still been responsible, just been someplace else, right? Like a campsite, you know, with an RV or renting some place, you know, away from everything. Why didn't we do it? You know, woulda, coulda, shoulda. Hey,
we missed out, man.
Can't change the past. You can only look forward. So it's like, wow, let's capitalize on this.
Yeah, you know, we have some friends that we've met through soccer, and they spend a lot of time sitting on the sideline watching your daughters and traveling and all this. So a lot of alcohol one day on a sunny day. We came up with this idea to have a farm/ranch, and have some alpacas and llamas because they're durable goods, basically, right? You sell off their stuff, and you can actually depreciate a llama and or an alpaca every year. I learned that through my discovery. But we settled on buying there was 4 families. We're like, okay, we'll get 100 acres. I think it was in Wyoming because they have no state tax. And we need to find a place where there's a stream or something that runs through it, because then there we can put our distillery and make moonshine.
Okay.
And right, we had this whole thing planned out. We've got a farm/ranch, and there's some money, and then then you've got the distillery, and then
so one's just a shell or a shill, you know, thing going on. It's like this is like what we're doing. It's legit, but behind the scenes, you know.
Yeah.
Batman's pouring stuff into the.
That's right. Yeah, you're just making hooch all day, and then maybe beyond that a little ways, you know, we're growing our marijuana. So we have this whole plan figured out, and we figured 100 acres is good enough, and we'll all have our little houses in a circle, plenty of land, or we could just take corners or whatever. So we've definitely brainstormed quite a bit of making this transition of nothing.
Yeah,
like going to have a lot, but literally there's nothing.
Yeah, I just think it'd be so much fun, you know, and yeah, it's a lot of work, but I don't know. I need a change. That's what it's coming down to.
Mm-hmm.
Like I keep doing some soul searching. I'm like, what am I looking for? Am I having a midlife crisis just because, you know, what has gone over the last, year and a half, or is it just that I'm realizing that what a lot of people, as they start to get wiser, realize it's like, well, it's not about things. It's not about money in your bank account. It's just about experiences or just enjoying life. And I really, really struggle with that, because everything over the last 15 plus years since I moved out to Arizona has just been work nonstop, and building all these other companies. And those really haven't turned out great for me. They've turned out great for other people. So I'm not retiring off of it. Other people are, but hey, I've learned a lot, which is great. The downside is that it made me, when work is all I do, I don't have any hobbies or stuff. It makes it hard, because now I'm like, you know, you are now currently current single fathering it. You aren't actually a single father. Your wife is currently a traveling nurse. So
that's right.
You are enjoying your kids in a different manner. How's that going?
So we're on day 4. Like, this is new. So we delivered her up to Flagstaff over the weekend, this previous weekend. Delivered. So she's been having a blast. The getting used to being alone for her has been a challenge, but she's kind of kept herself busy. She hasn't officially worked in the hospital, but they've had some training she's done virtually and different things like that. So, we talked about trying to do this over the summer, because we don't typically do a whole lot other than have a vacation. So we thought, okay, well, why don't we try it now?
Yeah.
Because I mentioned we wanted to do this when they leave. And rather than wait all this time and, like you're saying, just, work yourself into the ground, why don't you try it during the summer, see if you even like it. It's something that's worthwhile. And then, we can work towards that and kind of setting ourselves on this expedition and adventure with each other. Because, we didn't do a honeymoon. We didn't do a whole lot of that. We got married and we had a baby right away. So for that reason, we're like, let's take that time for us. Well, she didn't get an opportunity to start this summer. This is kind of, August. So she'll be done in November, the first week of November. So it's 13 weeks. And, the way that it works out, we could drive up there. She could drive down here. So it's close enough to get a taste of what it's like. And then the amount of money that she makes, if she were to do 2 of them, which would cover 26 weeks, which is half of the year essentially, right? She doesn't have to do them consecutively, but if she were to do 2, she would potentially make double than what she would as a normal nurse that just went to her hospital.
Wow.
Yeah, and they start to increase in amount of money that you earn when you leave the state. So last year,
It's so
nuts,
weird.
man.
It's so weird.
It's nuts. Last year, when Corona first started, they were offering like $7,000 a week to nurses to go to New York and New Jersey. And you know, we seriously talked about it, but she was just like, I don't know. Nobody knew.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously looking back, she was like, I should have went. And you start to do the math and you're like, oh my God, that's so much money. But yeah, I mean, it's been fun, you know, having the kids. Listen, when she works normally from like 7 to 7, we don't see her during the day anyways, right?
Yeah.
So really they miss out on that early morning and late night, and then, you know, soccer. So I'm mom, dad, carpool, you know, chef, all of it wrapped into one. So I take one to school, come home, take the other one to school. I make breakfast, you know, obviously dinner. I cook most of the time anyways for dinner, so that's not really a big change. But it's definitely been an interesting adventure into the first couple days. So I'm looking forward to, as we get into, like, you know, it's been 2 weeks, a month, see where we're at, if we all like each other. We haven't screamed and yelled and broken stuff. So I'm looking forward to, we'll see. But I think I'm more excited about that she likes it, and it's tough. And that next one where she's out of state, maybe it's in Texas or Colorado, I think that'll really give her the appreciation for both of us, obviously one of us being gone, but then how we could make that adventure work for us and just go. So I think, you know, I'm looking forward to that and hoping toward that'll be, you know, the takeaway at the end of it. Plus, I mean, not to go back to the money, but the amount of money that she can make to literally catch up and make up for 5 years of not saving money or having to run through everything, right, over the last year. It's just astronomical how much she can earn by doing that. And then she's also in school. She just started school to be a nurse practitioner. So she's able to do both of those while she's remote, obviously. And then that'll probably even increase in cost that she'll be able to earn. And then, you know, when you look at it from going to school, she could pay cash for her school. So like it just the opportunities that it'll provide us for that next phase, you know, I'm still looking forward to probably the time that we'll get to spend at each other, but to like go on these adventures, you know, buy a truck, buy an RV, and just go and like visit a state or a little town that we've never been in, never even heard of. You know, there's been times where I've driven through the Midwest and it was probably the most boring thing I've ever done in my entire life, just farms and Jesus signs, and that's great. But man, I don't know if I'm looking forward to some of that, right? But you know, I'm cheesy where I want to get the little sticker of the United States, and every time we go to a state, I want to put the state on there. So
they got the ones now that you could scratch off. Like that's what I was thinking. I'm like, man, if I was totally RVing, I would go to every single state. I would drive even to, you know, Alaska, drive through Canada, get to Alaska. Like I would totally do it just to like mark every single thing off. Right.
Yeah. And, you know, like you said, it's the experience and having the ability to do that. And then, you know, we all gather for the holidays in a cabin or something like that. And we make that our tradition. And as my girls grow into their families, and, you know, everybody does that. So they'll always remember that kind of stuff. So, you know, I'm excited for that kind of thing, especially as, you know, my kids are older because I don't see them that often and they're just doing their own thing. Like one's going to drive in 2 years, which is crazy to think about. And that 2 years will be here in no time, and then they're gone. And then, you know, we're worried we're just going to sit around this house and be like, hey, what do you want to do today? We're just bored. We have nothing to do. So, you know, I think that for us, like you're saying, like the experience and just doing all that. So I'm looking forward to that. But
and it's totally different, right? It's not anything that you've done in the last. You don't like the ocean anyway, so it's not like you're gonna go to beach and vacations in the Caribbean and stuff like that. But it's just totally different. And one of the things that videos that I had stumbled across in the last couple of weeks was oh man, I think it was called Yes Theory is the name of the channel, and they do all of these different things where they're trying to get out of their comfort zone, right? Because when you're out of your comfort zone, that's when you actually have the most growth, the most, you know, insight on things, and really push yourself. So they have a statement that's like, seek discomfort, right? Because you're going to be uncomfortable at one point in time in your life, you know. So if you just seek out certain things, of you're like, okay, push yourself beyond being in that normal box that you are, like it actually more often than not turns out to be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm all for that. I think that'd be great. Who knows what that looks like? I mean, we travel the country. Maybe she wants to work overseas. Who knows?
Mhm.
I don't know.
Ryan says, wow, Ryan I don't know if it's Ryan in the chat, but it's our Ryan. So Teeter in the chat said that he actually has one of the scratch off things for the national parks. So maybe he's picking up a rock too every single place that he goes. Like those people like get the sand. I'm like, isn't it just sand? Like I can understand that one's a little more tan and one's more white, but anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Let's just quickly round it because we're already coming up on our time limit that we're trying to always stay within, which is 25 to 30 minutes. Really trying to keep it to 20. But you mentioned something about you also potentially buying a car. Now, I know that you just recently got rid of a car. So why are you now talking about buying another car?
Yeah, so I'm considering buying a car. Sharing a car with my wonderful grandfather has been awesome for the last 3 months. We had a wonderful conversation about I'm wearing the shocks down. And I said, what sort of diagnostic equipment do you have in our garage that I don't know about that would lead you to believe that my taking the car to go to Scottsdale 1 or 2 days a week would lead you to believe that? So whatever. No, I'm at some point I'll have to. So I've kept it open to the possibility as long as I can go without it, but I've kept it open. And so I started to look at an electric car. So if I have to go to Scottsdale, which I've done my entire professional career, I've driven to Scottsdale, I might as well take advantage of driving in the carpool lane legally, right? Because I've definitely gotten away of doing it illegally. I've gotten pulled over. So I figure I might as well try to take advantage of an electric vehicle, right? No gas, little to no maintenance, obviously registration, all these benefits. So I've been looking at something that I can use for now, but then I can ultimately give to my child who will be 16 in 2 years. So, it's been an interesting discovery because I've always been on, I want a Tesla one day. That still exists, but I've looked at a Leaf and a Bolt. Boring.
Yep. Does
the job. It's amazing how the range exists for these commuter cars that you drive around town. I've looked at e-Golfs. I've looked at
what about the Cadillac one? Because somebody we used to work with had one of those.
Man, I don't know. I haven't gone that far.
Cadillac has one that's essentially. Now being the car guy, I should know this, but.
No, I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, it's actually it's not newer. You'd have to get a used one, which I'm assuming that's what you're looking at.
Yeah. Yeah. So, although I will tell you some of the interesting things that I found out that there's a car called a Toyota Mirai. Never heard of it. Didn't even know it existed because you don't buy it here. You buy it in California. It's a hydrogen cell car. No clue. I had no idea that this thing even existed.
I didn't know that any hydrogen things existed at all.
Yeah. So it looks like a Corolla, like a newer body style of a Corolla, maybe a Camry. And all the reviews I read about it of people that owned it hated it. So it's like pass. Yeah, man. Trying to get rid of your car to save money, and then you're like, well, it's been 4 months. I guess I need to buy one. I don't want to, but inevitably I'm gonna have to. So I'm trying to be frugal. And try to buy something that I can either just pay cash for or something that's reliable enough to hang around for the next 5 or 6 years that my daughter can have. So,
well, do you run any of your day-to-day stuff through your LLC, or do they pay you as 1099?
So part of the reason of looking at this recently is that I have an opportunity to take on a 1099 contract, so my business will own the vehicle.
Because if you got one that's 6,000 pounds or over, then you can depreciate the whole entire thing in a year. So I know your wife just got rid of it, but the 4Runner is it's over 6,000 pounds and so on and so forth. So
yeah, so I instantly thought, okay, I could get the Tesla X. I'm not spending that much money. My budget is as far down as possible. If I can find something that's $4,000, that's my budget.
Well, I mean, you can. It's a bicycle with a little, old Power Wheels motor attached to the wheel.
I'd be okay with that. But you know what ideally I'd love? I'd love to get a 1990s body style Chevy Astro van.
Oh, okay.
Right? like the first minivans where there's no windows on the side, and then or like a full conversion van, and then have some sort of like, you know, Dungeons and Dragons World of Warcraft scene painted on the side, and like the license plate says "Milady." Like that would be ideal. You know what I'm saying? Like I've got shag carpet on the walls and the thing. Now, mind you, that my daughter will not own that, but that would be like my vehicle. That would be ideal.
Yeah,
like, that would be. That
but
be
you would
great.
still drive her to every event. That way, you know, it would be the most hilarious thing on our point, but it'd be an embarrassing thing on hers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be fantastic, right? And the horn plays like some trumpet sounds.
I don't know why the first thing I thought was
Sure.
I don't know
Something
why
like that.
that's what instantly popped into my head. A funny story enough.
Yeah.
We have these big, large Lego blocks for my son to play with and stuff. And, you know, I always build crazy things, like whatever I can think of and stuff. And he's like, build something different, Dad. I'm like, I got nothing. Randomly was like, you want me to build a taco truck? He's like, yeah, taco truck. Now that's the only thing he wants me to build, and I can build 2 of them. But like, because we have these Thomas the Train chassis, so I can like fit them on that. And like, that's the sound I play whenever, you know, we play. So, sorry.
So totally random. Speaking of taco trucks, there's this cat box that you could buy that looks like a van or something that your cat can just sit in because they're weird and they're like boxes. And it's like this little. I have to look it up. I saw it the other day and I was like, I don't own a cat, but I want this. And I would buy the box to then own a cat, so you could just sit in the box.
That sounds like one of those stupid ideas that 2 people on a podcast started talking about, and somebody's like, "Yeah, let's actually make that." So let me ask you the final thought here, bringing it all the way back to the beginning of talking about you trying to grow a mullet. Okay.
Okay.
You know how they have like beard oil and like all these special things to try to help you grow. Like, is there anything like that for mullets? Because I feel like, you know, you can have like the Let Your Soul Glow stuff, which Heather probably right now, if she's still watching, it's like, let your soul glow. You know,
Dude,
she's
first
singing.
off, that's exactly what I would buy,
Okay.
right? And it would be gloriously shiny, obviously hydrated beyond belief, maybe a little overhydrated, little leakage. Obviously, I would have a perm in the back because that's right. It would be the most ridiculous thing. Listen, Kenny Powers is my mullet idol.
Okay. It's the person I was about to say.
Yeah. Full on. So I don't know, but I think that would definitely open up an opportunity for me to, you know, partner with some potential person that we might have worked with in the past that has access to people that make products, and we could make the first ever like mullet leave-in conditioner.
Yes.
And have a whole line of mullet products. So
I mean, I feel like a $1 billion idea. I don't know why we're wasting time on this podcast right now. We probably should have just jumped into that and totally done it. So appreciate everybody joining us this week, even though we're missing a nut. He happens to be in the chat, so thanks for joining us, Ryan. And next week, I'm going to be gone. I'm actually taking vacation. I'm currently going to be stuck in the middle of probably a tropical storm trying to fly into Florida, because that's just my perfect timing in the world. So probably won't be live next week unless you guys want to do something crazy with your computers, but probably won't be seeing us, but I will still post one of the past episodes that we have. So appreciate everybody joining us, and we will see you guys next week.